I'm Rick Wheat, and I was going to show you the different sizes of the Novels we got so you kind of know what to do. This one here would be a standard. This is the one that fits most all the horses, like quarter horses, gaited horses, anything like that. But this is the standard. This is the main one we use. Okay, and then this one here is the intermediate, which is for yearlings or anything with a smaller head, little bitty headed quarter horse or Arabians. It's called the intermediate, and we'll help you out getting the size put together right for you when you call. Right, that's the intermediate. This one here would be the warm blood. And the warm blood is the ones that they use for dressage, jumping, or whatever, or anything. It's also good on mules. That's the size. That's called the warm blood, and that's the size up from the standard, and it'd be for the bigger type horses. This one here is a draft horse one, and this is for the big draft horses, and it comes in biothane or leather. The biothane is the best for the draft ones. All the rest of them come in biothane or leather also. And this is a miniature one. It comes with the headstall, but I didn't have the headstall with me today. Anyhow, this is the miniature. We've got miniature A's and miniature B's. So that's the sizes of Novels that there is, and so we'll get on with the video. Hi, I'm Rick Wheat. I'd like to thank you for your interest in the Noavel Headstall. We're going to basically show you how this works today. It's a real comfortable device for your horse. It actually sits on here, it's loose. There's actually no pressure points whatsoever on this. In fact, you can run your hands completely all the way around it at any point. Your horse is very comfortable in it. The thing of it is, whenever he chooses to do wrong, this shows him the way to go right. Now with the Noavel, there's very few ways you can misadjust it, but the thing that you do on it, like if you're riding your horse and you're going to ride your horse and just trail ride or pleasure ride or whatever you're doing, if your horse, while you're standing here beside of him, if he should decide like to walk away, the way the Noavel works is just a bump, just a simple little bump. Gets his attention that quick, but it still has his attention. Whereas if he's looking away or trying to graze or something like that, something could surprise him. It could be a real safety issue. With the Noavel, as you see, he's at complete attention right now. And the way we got that was just simply with that little bump right there. That's the way we got it. Okay, now, what you do on this, you adjust it about where a halter would go. It's not real critical. I mean, some horses feel comfortable with it a little higher, some a little lower. But the situation you've got to watch is this being your throat latch. You don't want the Noavel itself to go below the chin. In other words, if you decide to work on the ground forward on a horse, you want your throat latch loose so that the Noavel will come here. As it does, if I wanted this horse to come forward, then when I pull on it, then the Noavel comes down up here and comes under here. And with the tips of your fingers, you can move your horse. And you can move them in any direction you want to move them. But the situation is, if he goes too far, then you can actually put him back where he was without you moving. In other words, if I wanted the horse on back, I would simply shake my Noavel and tell him to back up. And he will. And he should stay right there without doing anything when I want him to. He should stand and be very still. Okay, the reason he does this is because the Noavel does have his attention, and it's strictly the little bump. That's the only way, that's the only thing it works off of is a bump. In other words, he feels like he might have bumped into something, and he don't want to bump into it again. The Noavel works because it's twisted. It has a twist in it. The twists are in certain spots, and that's the reason it works as well as what it actually works. But with the situation is, if I wanted this horse to actually back up and I was on his back, when I hold up on it, as you notice, he gives to it very easy. Then when I drop it, he stops. Of course, this being a very good broke horse, you know, he already knows what he's doing anyway. But you can do basically the same thing with an unbroke horse because they learn real fast what to do. The Noavel sets on the nerves that comes through, really doesn't hurt him, but once the horse gets his head to the right position, as you see this horse is doing, the Noavel is completely loose. There's absolutely nothing touching this horse. If you notice, none of his movements are real harsh or dangerous. If he shook his head, if he would throw his head around a lot, he could hit me. But he don't do that. So anytime you're working with a horse and you're going to be working on the ground, such as trailer loading, shoeing, getting ready for the vet, anything like that, you want your throat latch loose. Not completely loose, but loose enough so the Noavel will come and bump him underneath the chin. When it does this, the top of it is here. In other words, down instead of up. And so when a horse is thinking down instead of up, you're not out here trying to put your bridle on him or deal with him up high. But instead, he'll have his head down to the point you want it. But again, that's where you put it. Now, when you decide to ride, and you're going for a pretty good ride, you snug it back up. You simply just don't get it tight, just get it snug. And see, this prevents it from coming back down. It keeps it level, and it keeps your horse's head level. It'll get your horse's head to where you'll hold it to the pot you want it. If this is where you want it, that's where you put it. And if you adjust it a little differently, then you can get his head back up where you want it, or you can put it back down. And so you've actually got complete control of where your horse's head goes with the Noavel. This is the way that it actually works. This is the mechanics of the thing. There's lots of other things can be done with it. Shoeing, vet work, training, finishing work, all kinds of things. You can make your horse be a happier animal as you're training it. You can show him that as you go along, he learns and he'll actually enjoy what he's doing. It'll make a lot better horse in the long run. Hey, this is Rick Wheat. Thank you a lot.
Hi, my name is James Wheat, and I'm a Noavel Headstall trainer. As far as adjusting it, what I'm wanting to do is whenever I first slide it on, of course I'm not going to have my throat latch done, so let's undo that, okay? I'm going to slide this on, and what I want to check and make sure of right here before I do my throat latch is I want to make sure that whenever I push on this ring, that this stopping bar, this is the crossbar, it goes across right here, this is called the stopping bar. Okay, and I want to make sure that this doesn't hit down here on the soft part of his lip. Whenever you adjust it, main thing you want to make sure of is you want to make sure that this stopping bar hits above the soft part of his lip. Okay, a little bit above is okay, but I'll kind of give you an idea here what is not okay. Okay, now then, we're not hitting up here where we want to hit, we're hitting on the soft part of that lip. Okay, and that's not what we're looking for. We're looking to be on up here. And that right there will be a proper fit on it. And you notice I can take this horse and just within my fingers I can put him forward. And that means that we're in the right spot. Okay, for the adjustments on the groundwork, what we want is we want to be sure that this is loose. Okay, now what we'll do with this horse, this is of course a real nice broke horse, but I'm going to run through it and give you just some pointers on how to introduce this to your horse. If you've got a broke horse that you ride and you're thinking about purchasing a Noavel to help him with a problem, or just maybe so you enjoy yourself a little more with your horse, we'll go through some groundwork and show you how to introduce this to your horse. Okay, what we want to do here, we want to start out, I'm going to take my reins off of him, and I got a really long lead rope. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show this horse. I got 4 basic directions that I want to show him. I want to show him back up, I want to show him to turn right and left, and I want to show him to come forward. Okay, and with the Noavel, you've got a full range of directions. You can do any of these things with the Noavel. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're just going to snap it on there, and like I say, we recommend the snaps because of the rattle. Well, it helps your horse out and a little easier on them. So what we're going to do first, I'm going to back him up here and get my rope picked up. And like I said, this horse here has wore Noavel a lot, so he'll back right up. I'm going to pick up on him, and you can tell I'm just doing it with my finger. I'm backing him up. One of the high points of the Noavel is whenever you ask this horse to back up, if you notice I take my hand and I pick up on it, but if you'll notice the front of it, okay, it actually goes down on the nose. And you see how this horse tucks his nose? I'm asking him to back up, and instead of putting his head in the air to get away from me, it's actually promoting the correct head position. And that's what we want. We want him to keep his head down, keep his nose tucked, you know. And like I said, that's a good plus for the Noavel Headstall. And what we're going to do with him, of course, we've got him where he'll back up just fine, and that's your stop and your reverse. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn him, and I'm going to turn him to the right. I'm standing on his left side, so I'm going to run my lead rope here over his neck, and I'm actually going to turn this horse away from me. Okay, I'm going to take my lead rope, and I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to come around his hips. Okay, and I'm going to turn him right there, and brought him all the way around back to me. I'm going to bring him back to me and pet him. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing, just on the opposite side. And like I said, this gives him the feel of what it's like whenever I ask him to turn. This is the same type of feeling he's going to get whenever I'm sitting in the saddle and I ask him to turn. And we want him to know this before we get up there. We want to make sure that we're going to be able to turn this horse. We said, see him give his head right there and come around. Okay, that's what we wanted. We wanted him to give to his head, turn around, and we want him to come back to us. Okay, now the forward position, the way the Noavel works, once again, that's why you have your throat latch loose, is so if you get out here and you pull on this horse like this, it comes down here and it hits here. This part comes up, and that's what causes him to go forward. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to set our throat latch to ride. I'm going to get on this horse right now. And to set our throat latch, if you notice, the reason we're going to do this is because I have a real broad range of movement here on his nose. You see, I'm not bumping him. I'm not causing him any grief or making him move or anything. This is just what movement we have. Okay, this is just from one end to the other of movement we have. We cover a real broad area. Like I said, now that's for our groundwork. Okay, what we want to do, all we've got to do is we just take our throat latch up. Okay, we just want to tighten our throat latch up like we ought to have it. Now then, my range of movement is a lot smaller on his nose here than what it was before. Okay, I do not have the forward. It doesn't come down and hit down here like it did before, which this horse here will lead just whenever you push on him, he'll just go ahead and give up and go. Okay, but I don't have that. That's the only thing it takes away from you is the ability to do that. Okay, another question we have a lot is, will my horse neck rein with a Noavel? Answer to that is your horse will neck rein with a Noavel. If your horse is broke to neck rein, he will neck rein with a Noavel. This horse here is broke to neck rein, but we're going to go through a little bit when you first get on him. Okay, we've already done our groundwork with this horse, and we know that he's going to back up and he's going to turn and he'll stop. And what we're going to do is we'll go ahead and we'll get up here. Okay. Now then, if we're turning a horse, for example, that's not been broke to neck rein, the Noavel has got so many different directions, and I'll show you some of the directions with this horse. You've got a reverse here. We're going backwards. Now I can rotate my hand just slightly, and I'm not gonna. In fact, I'm not even going to neck rein this horse. I'm going to do it with one rein. And I can back him up, but just by swinging my hand, I can change directions and go in a circle. Okay? Now, that's one of the fine points of the Noavel, because you have so many different ways of direction, and you want to be sure what kind of cue you're giving your horse at all times. You know, a lot of times if you think you're asking your horse to turn around and he's backing up, a lot of times it's just because you're not making a distinct enough request to your horse. The way to do this is to start out with him and start out coming down here low on your reins. Now what you actually want to do whenever you come down here is you want to run your hand down your reins like this. Okay? Whenever you go to turn to say we're going to go to the right, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that my left rein has slack in it. And I'm going to come right around my knee. And I'm going to turn this horse around all the time with my left rein having slack in it. Okay? Now then, whenever I go back, I'm gonna do the same thing to the left, and I'm gonna make sure that my right rein has slack. And I'm gonna come out here wide around my knee, and you see how he just kind of gives his head and he don't turn real fast, okay? Now that's getting what I'm asking the horse to do. That's making a real distinct request of what I'm asking him to do. That kind of gets you through the basic groundwork on riding a broke horse with your Noavel.
All right, what we're doing here, we got us a 3-year-old that's short. I don't want you to put your hands on her. We're gonna try to show her a little different angle here about what we're gonna do with it. Pretty quick to the feet. We're gonna try to show her a different spot what we want to do. Once we get the Noavel on her, you'd think this rope is absolutely scaring her to death. But it's really not. We can actually show her what we expect of her. Then this will be probably as willing a horse as you've ever seen once we actually show her what we're doing. Kind of wanting to go a different direction on me. Hi. Whoa, 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 whoa. All right. You can see she's kind of acts like she's scared slap to death. The situation is, once we take hold of her, get control of her, you'll see her actually just melt and come back to life. And you'll see a pretty wild type horse turn into a pretty gentle type horse, I think right in front of your eyes. But again, what we do is we use the Noavel. We can make it uncomfortable for them when they're away from us and very comfortable when they're up to us. And this is how it works on the hard to catch thing. This horse has been a real problem to catch, a real problem to handle, as you know, she just don't want to get along real good with you. We'll work her in a little different angle here and show her some different stuff. But she's the type that wants to push on you a little bit, and she wants to kind of get away from you as much as she can. And that's the reason why we're going to try to teach her to come to us. The Noavel works in the process whenever you loosen the throat latch, it allows it to bump them here, okay? It also bumps them here. It's a very light bump, very, very light bump. But what you do when you bump this thing, and they come to you a time or two, they learn that this is what you expect. With this, you can actually show them. Now, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna show her that, you know, we want to put something over her ears. Okay? So as we show her, see, I'll put it over her ears and then I pat her and rub her. Okay, I show her, this is what I want. You know, each and every time, put it over her ears, show her that's what we want. If you notice her licking and chewing, she understands that this is the deal. Now, this is hollow broke and everything, but if I bump her, see, when I bump her just a little, come here. See, she wants to get here. Okay. Once she puts her head into there, she learns one time. We've got her. We've got her shown what we want her to do. Now we're going to use complete reverse psychology on this horse. You know, that's what we're going to do. We're going to show her that every time she sees that rope, she needs to actually come to it. Now what I'm doing now, I'm kind of putting the headset on her, and showing her when she gets her head at this right level, which there's a nerve behind her left ear that will actually set her head down with the Noavel on it, because the Noavel's sitting on the same nerve, and it doesn't hurt them. You're simply rubbing the nerve. But as you can see, you can put her head down. Okay, this takes a little more time to do what we're gonna do. Come here. Hey. As you can see, her eyes are big. She knows to come to me, but she hadn't put this other deal in it yet. But see, until she puts her head underneath that, I still bump her. I still give her this little bump. Each and every time she puts her head under it, then I quit. And see, she did it on her own that time. All right, so once she does that, we're pretty sure we got her. You know, because they learn real quick on these situations, and again, there's nothing on her head right at this point except the Noavel. I have nothing holding it. Now keep in mind, a while ago she was scared of this rope as she could be. The difference being now, every time she jumps into the Noavel. See? So if I scare her, she don't run away. But instead, hey, come here. She puts her head in the rope. Instead of going around it, she puts her head in it. Okay, so, all right, when she gets away from me, like this, every time it bumps her, she thinks of me. She remembers me. So as this thing bumps her and as it shows her, I'm the one that give her the instant relief. There we go. The instant relief being that every time she comes to me, I pet her, I rub her, and I show her that this is all right. When she's over there and this thing bumps her a little bit, she thinks I'm doing it. Now in a few minutes, we're gonna take this off of her. Now, and we're gonna make her, you know, if you notice a while ago, she wanted to kick at me every time we done anything. She may do it again, but if you notice, she's standing there really looking at me real close. That's all right too. We don't mind that. But you see, each and everything that I do to her, so you can watch when it bumps her a little bit. See, she's actually just gone from me now. But I can do anything to make her shake her head. When she shakes her head, she thinks of me. Okay, when she thinks of me, she puts her head under whatever I'm holding up. Okay, once you take a horse and you get them to this point, what we was doing, if you notice when we first brought her in, she was real nervous, real shy of us. She didn't want us touching her. She didn't want us doing anything to her. Okay, now that don't mean it's completely over, and don't do this at home for sure. But one that wants to kick at you, as she did a while ago, once you get that Noavel and you get it set on there and you get their attention, see, if you'll notice when I move to this side, you'll see her head switch. Move over here, you'll see her head switch, because she's watching for me. Now, if I scare her, a horse that won't run away from you usually won't do a whole lot. See, now look, and every time she goes to run, all I gotta do to get her attention is do something that ought to scare the far out of her. Complete reverse psychology. Because once you scare them, they bump themselves, they're going through the exact same thing we was doing before. And that's it, that little bump. And as you see, she comes to me. Now, we're gonna ride this horse in just a second. We'll go ahead and ride her. But if you notice, no matter where I go, no matter what I do, she's stuck with me, you know? And no matter what, I mean, she's figured it out, okay? But she's not comfortable till she puts her head under something. We taught her that the first 5 minutes we done it. She'll never, ever forget it, you know? And see how relaxed she is? And, you know, like we talked earlier, you know, every time I'd move that rope, she'd jump and run and just try to leave me. See, notice her now. See, she's not the least bit scared of the rope. She's not at all, because what's happened, she's actually learned that the relief is here. It's not there. And so this is how you fix a hard-to-catch horse that, you know, you can't do much else with. Now, we're going to mess with this horse a little bit. We're going to saddle her, kind of see what she does. If you notice, every time I do anything, every time I move away from her, every time I do anything at all, she's hunting me, you know. As you see, we've got pretty good obstacle between us. But see, she still got me on her mind. And she will have, come here. And they call them dumb animals, you know. They're not. They learn, and they learn real quick. And all it takes is being able to show one and correct it before it goes. Now, we're gonna saddle this horse up and let her see how this kind of goes over with her. This one has been ridden before, but it's been a little while since she was. And so we'll kind of see where she's at. Okay. Again, if you'll notice a while ago, every time I moved, she jumped. Put the Noavel on her, she's standing there relaxed, she's calm, she's quiet. Okay, that's the difference being. And like I said earlier, I reached for a foot, she wanted to kick at me. Now she's standing here, walk behind her. Do all these many things with her. And as long as you can do these things with her and her not move, it shows you that you got a hold of her. Okay, we've definitely got a hold of her mind. She don't know exactly what we're doing, but she knows that we've got a hold of her. She hadn't tried to jump out this round pen, and it helped her. This is a round pen on her nose, and it works in a lot the same manner, but it's really gets their attention without any real pain to them or anything like that. It does it real calm and easy with them. Now again, if you notice, we saddled her, she never has moved. She's never as much as moved a foot. So if we can do that with her, we're gonna just turn her loose. Just let her kind of see what she wants to do here. Come on. Okay, now amongst all of this, hi, come here. Okay, which is the strongest? You know, is it our training, or is it her impulse to buck? Okay, what happened? We made her quit bucking simply by picking up a rope and showing her we don't want that no more. And so if we can show her that quick, what we don't want, then there's no reason that we can't ride this horse from now on, you know, and do whatever we want to do with her. And see, we're right back to the same spot we was a while ago. Hey. Come here. Come here. She's trying everything she can to ignore me. But once she figures out what I want, it's over. James, come on in. Step on her. We're gonna ride this colt. This colt's kind of got a little bit of a habit of wanting to buck, but with it, we should be able to take it away from her pretty quick. And if we can do that quick, can you imagine what you can do with your broke horse? You know, you can make one ride whenever they're a little bit cranky of a morning. They'll actually act a lot better for you because of the fact that you're not getting rough on them. Now, if I put something in this horse's mouth and went to pulling on her, I would lose every bit of the attention I've already got. See, I'd lose it all. And see, she's losing any attention that she had. But, you know, she'll be all right. And, but with this, it's not. Now, what we taught her is a safety thing. If you've got a kid that you're wanting to ride, young person giving riding lessons, whatever you're gonna do, you know, if a horse is out here on the rail having a fit, and you run up and try to grab it, not only are you gonna hurt yourself, you're gonna hurt whoever's on it. Okay, I can control this horse with him riding it. And he can actually take and loosen the Noavel up, and I can bring the horse to me at any time I want to. See, there she is. Okay, if I can bring her to me, then if I've got a real inexperienced rider on it, I can reach and get them off because the horse is coming to me. Go ahead and ride her around a little bit. But the thing of it is, you can ride the horse, you can do what you want to do with the horse as far as getting her to ride. If you notice, she's going to ride all right. And the bucking part is completely out. Now, what we do on this thing for people that give riding lessons, and we deal with a few folks that do some handicap riding and stuff like this, and whenever you get into these situations, this is obviously not a horse that's qualified to be in any of those situations because she's wanting to buck. But if you got your broke horse trying to do this one little thing, which as you've seen, it didn't take long, you know, right at the pin, turn her loose, just drop your reins down. And if you get in a bind, you know, if a kid's on a horse and done the wrong thing, hey, come here. You know, he's done the wrong thing. Okay, instead of me going over and chasing it down, I bring it right back to me, I can reach and get them down. It's a safety issue. And again, this is not a kid horse. We don't pretend to be that. This colt wants to buck, but she don't. But if you notice, she stays with me, okay? Now, you know, a lot of people will talk about leading a horse. You know, that's great, you gotta lead a horse. How long would it take me to get this horse to lead and ride her off again, you know? I mean, I can control this horse with him on it as soon as he turns loose of the reins. The second he takes hold of the reins, he's in control. So with the Noavel, like we talked about earlier, we've got control of this horse. I've got control of this horse over there, got control of it here. And so as long as he's riding and everything's going fine, it's okay. But you know, you think of the, you know, scaring a horse. My gosh, who wants to scare a horse, you know? But see, you scare it, hey, come here. Hey, come here. Loosen your reins a little more, James. Come here. Okay, as long as she felt any pressure on those reins, she wouldn't come to me. The second, released them. In other words, if he had dropped his reins, or if he'd been a young rider and got panicked on it and turned loose of the reins and throwed them down on his neck, I can still bring the horse to me.